Hi, my name is Anna, and I would like to share my testimony about my journey and experience carrying out a life of faith in Shincheonji for a few years now. Growing up within Christianity, my grandparents raised me to attend church every Sunday, to attend Bible studies and fellowships, to be surrounded by people within the faith, and to try my best to just be a good person. However, like most believers I have met, I experienced a faith that I describe to be like a roller coaster, because that's how it felt. There were times I felt close to God, but there were also many times I felt distant, and I never understood why. If I was doing the things I was told would help me become close to God. That's how I continued to carry out my faith for many years. There were many things I learned about the Bible that were not as clear to me, or that would contradict with different explanations I had heard growing up. And although I sought for clarification, at times there was very little explanation that could be provided. There were challenging questions I received from acquaintances that I could never find a clear answer to either. Questions such as, how can people claim to believe that there is a God we cannot see somewhere out there that is so good, but doesn't seem to be fixing this world that is so full of hardship, corruption, and death? I became more distant from the faith as time passed, and thought maybe I could find the comfort and answers I was seeking for somewhere else, like science as I went through my college education. Although there were maybe some things science can answer and present facts about, the questions I had could not be clearly understood through science. I also grew up in a broken household, and there was a point where the situation became so unbearable. And around the same time, my grandfather passed, bringing me to a point in my life where I felt the lowest I had ever felt. At this point, I didn't know where else to turn to, but to God. I prayed to God on many occasions to help me find a way to understand Him and to grow trust in Him. About a year or so later, I moved to continue my college education and wanted to use this move as a fresh start for every aspect of my life, including my faith. I was surprised to find that out of the many ministries I looked into, the one I settled into was the one that came to me unexpectedly, and that was a Bible study through Shicheonji. My initial intention to study the Bible was to find answers to my questions, but I found so much more at Shicheonji. I came to understand the Bible so clearly across the 66 books, and I came to understand God, His will, and the work He is and has been doing to get rid of evil and death, which only came to be that way because of the entity that opposes God, that is the devil. I not only understood God's word better, which strengthened my faith, but through my journey in carrying out a life of faith here, I learned about myself as a person and how to grow in my character. From the very beginning, I was surrounded with people who were selfless in making time to help me grow spiritually, but also in general as a person. In my journey of carrying out a faith in Shincheonji, I also experienced many personal hardships, and I always had people there, not only for moral support, but helping me find solutions to overcome those hardships. This is the kind of care I learned and grew to have for others as well. I have grown to genuinely see the people at Shincheonji like a family to me. I always was glad to participate in all the events we held for the community to come together to learn more about the Bible and to fellowship as believers. The interfaith work that has been carried out all throughout the world, and the volunteer work that we have done with the other organizations in the community. Whether it was support different causes, providing care for our elders and children, or helping clean up our environment and making it more green, all these things I experienced us participating in, not just to look good in the community, but because we genuinely desired to help other local communities and feel it is our duty to help in any way we can. There are many groups or organizations that want to try to help people or do some type of good in the world. And I rarely see people being opposed to something which is so genuine and pure in intention. I have seen what was spread throughout social media about Shicheonji. But as someone who has experienced actually being a part of Shicheonji for a few years now, it is disheartening to read the slanderous words said about people who have only been kind, genuine, and selfless. In sharing my testimony today, I sincerely hope for people to not be so quick to believe all the things that are shared through social media about Shicheonji, but to come and experience for yourself the true Shicheonji and witness all the work that has only spread goodness and peace, and that I believe will only continue to spread throughout the world.